started. It's August 10th at 5:30. This is the Administration, Communication, and Technology Committee meeting of Westchester Borough Council, attended by myself, Nick Gallen, Miss Lisa Dorsey, and Mr. Don Braceland is going to sub in for Mike Stefano today. Department heads are Mike Brown and Bill Mann. So we will call the meeting to order right at 5:30. And item number 2 is comment, suggestions, petitions by residents in attendance regarding items not on the agenda. Yeah, go right ahead. Thanks.
Hi, good evening. Beth Rossica, 338 West Minor Street. So I was just following up on the language that we had proposed to you guys a couple months ago about amending the home rule charter about not holding simultaneous offices. And I know that there was some discussion, and I was just looking for follow-up about what the next steps were and how I could be helpful.
So at the last meeting, we talked about this. So we definitely identified a couple of different, I would call them nuanced issues with the home rule charter that it seems like we have common ground on. And correct me if I'm wrong, does it have to be voted on because it's a home rule charter change by everyone in the borough? Is that where we landed on that?
I assume that you're not asking me that question.
Yeah, I'm asking Mr. Perone. Sure. So I'm not against moving forward with this at all. I will admit it got a little further off my radar than I meant to let it get off my radar, but I'm definitely happy to continue talking about this. And I can leave a note for myself to try to discuss more of this issue next month as well, if that would be good.
Okay, that would be great. And like I said, I'm happy to help if we want to do like an ad hoc committee. I'm happy to do research and sit down with the group to work on that.
And I appreciate that you've given us research as well. That's always helpful. So
Yep.
thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anything else? Hey, seeing nothing, we can move on to item number 3, which is to consider the Sustainability Advisory Committee's recommendation or recommended enforcement date for the single-use waste ordinance.
Good evening, everyone. Will Williams, Sustainability Director. So quick recap how we got here. 2019, Borough Council approved the single-use plastic ordinance with enforcement set to begin July 20th. Then COVID hit last year, and tucked into the state disaster declaration was some language that said these municipalities can't pursue these laws, and if they have them, they can't enforce them until the end of the disaster declaration plus 6 months. So the disaster declaration ended in June, and so technically we are able to, according to that language, we are allowed to start enforcement December 8th. If you also recall, our position was that that prohibition was not done legally. Actually joined a lawsuit led by the city of Philadelphia to challenge the Commonwealth on that. So in front of us here is a memo from the Sustainability Advisory Committee recommending enforcement commence January 1st of next year, a couple weeks after we would technically be allowed to if following that disaster declaration prohibition. This date was also sort of endorsed by the BID, and John O'Brien sent a letter to us backing that date from the business point of view. It gives us ample time to roll it out to the businesses, but also people who live here, people who come here, the education we need to do so that no one's caught off guard by this issue. We have an education plan. We dusted off and revisited a little bit. We were starting to work on it last spring. The world got crazy for a little bit there. So that's all I have on this.
Sounds good to me. Are there any questions from council?
The disaster declaration said that you couldn't force the ordinance until 6 months after the disaster declaration ended. Which December 8th.
Thank you.
Mr. Allen, another question. I was talking to Will the other day, just to see where the borough's going with plastics and non-plastics and so forth. Borough currently, we sell single-use plastic trash bags. Where this is gonna, that issue is gonna stand as part of our trash collection system. So no decisions obviously be made tonight. I think you all need to think about that. The implications that's going to have on our trash collection system.
Good on consent for that, or we can move it to, so we good on that 3-hour recommendation? Awesome, forgot what week it was for a second there. All right, I think we're good to move on then to number 4, which is to revise the personnel policy and delete paragraph number 4 from section 305, which is entitled military leave.
Everyone. I'm Karen Armstead. I'm Director of HR, and hopefully come to terms with this. I think it's pretty easy to explain and to understand. Military leave is unpaid leave, just like our family medical leave. And with that being said, we do cover the medical benefits for employees that are away on military leave, but those employees are not entitled to vacation accrual or personal time or sick time. That's basically because they're not here working. They're not in service to the borough. So they're not eligible or entitled to that accrual. Now, the time that they've already accrued, problem, it's on the book, that's not affected at all. And then when they return from leave, then they begin to accrue time again. It's just during the time that they're not in service to the borough, they don't accrue time.
And just for clarification, is the proposed policy, would that match the family time off?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
Absolutely. And we talked to our attorney. I think Chief Moorhead brought this up with Mr. Perone. And we also talked to our attorney just to make sure that we have an understanding and we're, online on board with this. Consistency is very important. So anytime, any type of policy where it's unpaid leave, which again is our family medical leave and military leave, they need to be consistent. So we should be applying the same standards for both types of policies.
Questions?
I'm sorry, I might be a little, I am confused.
Okay.
So we're granting this or taking it away?
We're actually taking it away. It's something that we have done in the past. I don't know, again, I'm still fairly new. I don't know how many instances in the past we've dealt with military leave. It's usually one of those that's not as popular as other types of leave, especially family medical leave. But anytime an employee is technically off the books, so to speak, they're away, they're, doing their military duty, their service. The only thing is they wouldn't be accruing vacation time because they're not here working. So again, the time they've already accrued, no problem with that, that's not affected. And as soon as they return from military leave, they begin accruing that vacation time again. What we do provide is the medical benefits. That's federal law that we provide them their medical still while they're away.
And this applies to union workers and non-union workers?
Absolutely, yeah.
Has there been a conversation about bringing these two into parity by allowing people on family leave to take or to accrue vacation time while they're away?
to allow them to take?
Yeah, if instead of making the military policy match the family policy, if we go the other way, and make the family policy match the military policy.
Yeah, and what we do here at the borough, when you go out on family leave, any vacation time or personal time that you have accrued, you take that as part of your leave time. That part is paid. You're taking your vacation and your personal time. And if it's your own illness, you're allowed to take your sick time as well. That portion of your family leave is paid. Then beyond that, if you're still out, if you still need time, as part of that 12 weeks that you're allowed, then that part's unpaid.
That's pretty standard in the market.
It is. It is. Like I said, it's the USERRA. It's the Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Act. That's the federal law that says, okay, as far as the medical, you will cover them, with medical benefits. You will reinstate the person for military. You will reinstate them when they come back. There'll be no discrimination because they're out on military leave. So those things are covered under that act, but there's nothing state or federal that says while people are away from work that they continue to accrue benefits or vacation, personal sick time.
Any other questions?
No.
Great, well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
It's always going to be hard for me to support anything that would result in employees having less vacation time personally. So I think I misunderstood this when we were coming in to the meeting. So I definitely have a better understanding of it now, which is great. But yeah, I think because of that, I won't support it. Interested to know.
Nick, let me just understand, no one's losing anything.
They're losing an opportunity to accrue time while they're gone.
While you
Yeah.
work, any job, while you work, you accrue time, sick time, vacation time, personal time. But if you're not working, those situations, you accrue those benefits. That's consistent with federal law. Family Medical Leave Act, this Military Reemployment Rights Act, same thing. But I mean, you're not accruing things, and this was brought up to us by the police chief. So take, for instance, you have an officer who leaves, goes out on military leave for a year. The borough still covers them medically, them and their family, if they're family coverage. We're paying for that. Let's say they were here 3 or 4 years and they got 4 weeks vacation. While they weren't here, they would accrue an additional 4 weeks and continue to accrue. They come back from employment, they could have 20, 25, 30 days of vacation in addition to what they're going to start accruing. And that's where it starts to compound and cost the borough a lot of money in overtime and so forth. That's the reality of it. And to Lisa's question, I did call Michael Gailey, who's an employment lawyer, does these types of things in other municipalities, and he says, yeah, system, attempting to do.
Thanks, Mr. Perone. And just for clarity, so today, barring this, someone who went out on military leave continues to accrue time, right? But someone who goes out on the Family Leave Act does not accrue time. So this is to bring those two things in balance, in parity, so that military leave matches the Family Leave Act or any other leave of absence.
I will support this.
I'll support it as well.
Alrighty, we can make that a 2-1 recommendation. And then number 5 is to approve the July 2021 minutes. I have an issue. Minutes. Okay. I guess we can call that 2-0 then. Is there any other business today?
Yeah, well, Nick, while we have some time, there's a new state law. We need to communicate this to all of council and all your committees and all the chairs of committees, in addition to all the department heads and the committees that they oversee. The agenda here tonight is our typical agenda, which is good. The state has changed the way we conduct public meetings a little bit. We kind of currently do everything about 99% right. We're going to have to install a little poster board outside the meeting room, post our agendas 24 hours before the meeting. All the other advertising we do okay. The thing that comes into question is on every agenda we have number 2. So president or someone gets up, they speak at the microphone and they bring up a topic. Okay? Council cannot discuss that topic unless it's an emergency, or there's minimal, or there's no money to spend. And then if you do want to bring it up, there has to be a motion from council to amend the agenda, to add something to the agenda. You have to vote on that first, then you could discuss the new agenda item. So that's the new state law. It goes into effect the end of this month. Date's August 29th. So I'll send you a little blurb on it just so everybody has it. I haven't shared with the department head, just like Al's giving me this kind of crazy look like we've been talking about. So, and the whole idea of the act is to, when you publish agendas and put them on your website or the newspaper, what you put out to the public that you're going to discuss, that's only what you're going to discuss in public meetings for that. This goes for the zoning hearing board, the planning commission, the sustainability committee, every committee that's out there.
So if we, at a committee meeting, does the same rule apply? So if someone got up and made a suggestion or something like that, we would need to have a formal motion in order to discuss it at the committee meeting also?
Yes. I mean, the best thing, best advice I can give you is, unless something is an emergency, I would say, thank you, it's a good idea, let's talk about it next month.
And then I had one in other business, just a question. This probably could have been emailed, but we have like 15 minutes. But I was listening to a podcast and it was talking about the renters assistance funds that the federal government passed. It was like billions of dollars, like 50 billion or something. And it sounds like the rollout is going awfully. And the rate they're distributing money, it would take like 5 years to get through the funds that they set aside, and it's meant for pandemic assistance. So obviously it's not a good rate, but they said it was up to state and local governments. And I did a little bit of research and it seemed like the county is spearheading that local effort. Do you know if that's the case or?
Yeah, the county has posted things on their website where they have some assistance programs. I'm not sure how they run. They're not affiliated with any local governments. The county government is doing it.
All right, I might just reach out to someone at the county about that then. I appreciate that. Oh, any other business? All righty, then we can adjourn at 5:49. Thanks, everyone.